All right, can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. All right, perfect. So, welcome to today's SEO questions challenge. I have a couple things that I'm going to show you guys, but above and beyond that, I wanted to kind of get a take. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the chat. Tell you a little bit about who I am, how I've gotten to where I am, and why I think RankDaddy is an amazing tool for you guys. And we'll jump into a minute, maybe give people a few minutes to jump on. And if you're watching the recording and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to shoot any of us a message. I have been doing, again, I'm Jonathan Schlossberg. I've been in RankDaddy from almost nearly the beginning. I met Brandon in another thing that we were doing. And when he launched RankDaddy, I was all about joining him in this because of what he had and how it works. Started cutting my teeth about 6 or 7 years ago in SEO. Basically learned a technique that was just really shady and didn't really like it, and made the shift. And as I've done it, I've gone through a lot of different areas of my life, but I've always come back to SEO. I think it is the cornerstone and one of the foundations. People always say, hey, you know, like, is SEO dying? And the fact is it's not going anywhere. Hold on, let me let a couple people in. Boom, boom. And then if you want to mute yourself, if you're not, that'd be awesome. So I got started doing this. I was a solopreneur doing it, grinding away, you know, literally the whole Grant Cardone method, like just knuckles to the grindstone. And it was brutal. Brutal. I'm going to mute you guys too, just so, perfect. Feeling like sometimes I was like trying to push a wet noodle up a hill. And so, like, have any of you guys felt that? You know, like, you're new, you're trying to figure out what you're doing, and you're really like, this is just so hard because you're maybe trying to do it still your way. And what I found, and you guys use the chat too, it'll be really helpful. When I found a system and a process that works, and you follow it and you implement it and not trying to do it your way, because why reinvent the wheel? You end up having something that you can actually have greater success and scale. And so 7, 8 years ago, I don't even know exactly anymore. I've been saying like 5 or 6 years for literally like 2 or 3 years, was doing this. I was a professional actor in Los Angeles and made the shift into the internet marketing world. And so, since doing that, my wife and I have had a company that was called Holistic Made. We launched that in July of last year, so in a year and a half, and we went from like 0 to 6 figures in a year, with the stuff that you guys know. So it's totally possible. And now we're actually taking our agency, and we have lofty goals of building it even higher, and we're rebranding, and we're now no longer Holistic Made because that was a great first year. We're now going into good marketing. So what I want to show you is like, what you're hearing right now is not who I thought I was a couple of years ago. So if you're just getting started, if you're new into SEO, if you don't know how to do it all, I was exactly like you. I mean, I didn't know what SEO was. I had heard of it, but like I had no idea. And I just learned, and I kept learning, and I kept learning, and I followed, and I showed up. And if I hadn't kept coming back to it, like literally I would have said there's no way I could do it, because I was not having success when I first started. I really didn't. But what I did do is I made myself better. And so hopefully what you'll get out of this call, besides just me talking at you, and besides me kind of like showing you some of the things that I do, is really showing you how to be a better person in your life, so that you can achieve more. because you've gotten to where you are based upon who you are and what you put into yourself. And if you don't continue to work on you, whether that's working out, whether that's God, whether that's personal development, whether it's going to events, any of those things, learning new skills, you cannot continue to grow. You will hit the glass ceiling. I was talking to my wife was talking to a client of ours yesterday and was talking about, he's a dentist and he's like one of the top dentists in Phoenix. And also on page 1 because of what we do with RankDaddy. But she asked him, like, how are you always being so far ahead of everybody else? And the answer he said was, well, we're required to have 15 hours a year of outside education. I do 150. And so that's how. So I want to point out to you, like, learn the SEO, learn all the skills that you need to know to do it. Let yourself fail. The only way you'll learn is by screwing up, going into an on-page and doing on-page and mess it up. Like I did, like for real, I did. It's just kind of, it happens. But that being said, you'll grow, you'll learn, you'll get better. Stay on top of the trends, like all of that stuff, but start putting good stuff in your brain. Start doing sales trainings, get on the sales calls. If you're not doing Kevin's, accountability group, like get involved in accountability group, get an accountability partner. There's 5 of you guys here. You guys could all challenge each other. Start working out. Like all of these different things. Like my wife and I just did a 6-mile trail run before this. Like we're crazy. We ran a half marathon like a month ago with 0 training because we couldn't reschedule and we couldn't get anybody with our kids. Like push yourself past where you think you are until you're uncomfortable. Like comfort is overrated. So this is starting off very personal development mindset-ish. But I think that's a really important place to start because you're here and you're in it. So you may as well have some incredible success while you're doing it. Is that fair? I mean, if you guys are going to unmute yourself and you can ask questions and you can, I don't want to talk at you for an hour. That would be really boring. Anyone have anything? Not yet. Any questions about SEO? Do you want me to just continue to mindset, or why don't we do this? Let's talk about systems. So first of all, make sure you go through the training, go over it a couple of times. One of the biggest lessons that we learned in our agency is we brought on people when it was too late. And so I wish somebody had told me this a long time ago. So I don't know how big any of your guys' agencies are, if you guys are all single people running your agencies, or if you have a team, or if you're outsourcing everything to RankDaddy and they're fulfilling. All of those are great. But it got to a place for us where we were like, oh, geez, we're so busy. We need to hire, we had to bring on our first employee. My wife and I couldn't do everything on our own. And we hired someone, not a VA. We have an in-house team that we work with from overseas, but like we brought in our first employee, someone local, 6 months too late. And what we realized is get the help before you can afford it and before you need it. I'm not saying hire someone local and pay them hourly. Go on online jobs, go on Upwork, find someone, start building a team. If you're only utilizing them 2 hours a week, who cares? Start building your foundation so that when you're able to start growing, because you're going to get to a point if you're doing this on your own that you can literally only do so many clients. And you want to bring them on it. And it feels like a step back because you're like, well, I have to pay them. And really, all of the money, I want it to go into my pocket. When you have that in place, if you don't set it up beforehand, you're going to end up like literally treading water, like incredibly difficultly going like, I need to play catch up. So I highly recommend finding someone that can build your, PBNs if you don't want to have RankDaddy do it. Find a good VA to do link building and Web 2.0s. Find a good VA that can do your GMBs and manage your GMBs. Find a great SEO audit person. so that really what you're doing is you're just overseeing it. And I would definitely, before you find all those people, I would want to find your point person, your manager. Awesome, Kurt. Awesome. And I'll tell you, like, seriously, I was on my run, and I should open the note. I literally had Siri tell me my note because I was thinking, like, well, do I bore you with SEO knowledge? You can go and watch those videos. But what is it that I wish I had known? What is it that I wish I had been told when I was brand new to this? When I, had no idea that I was going to be doing this as a career. That having the first of those people in place will. So let's say you're getting like $1,000 a client, right? And you're doing the citations and the diamond listing citations, and then you're doing Web 2.0s, and then you're getting a PBNs and all of that. And you're spending the time doing the on page and all of that. There's only so many of those things that you can do. There's only so many of those hours. And then how are you going to prospect, and how are you going to close, and how are you going to do all that, right? If you start putting the pieces of the puzzle and you take a little bit less of the pie on the front end, it feels like you're tightening your belt, but really what you're doing is you're able to then go focus on the things like prospecting, getting people in your pipeline, keeping people going, right? Because there are buckets, cold, warm, hot. And if you don't keep filling those buckets until they become clients, the buckets are going to get empty, and then you're shot. Yeah. Okay. So Tyler said what helped him is getting a really strong CRM. He uses Honeybook. I don't know Honeybook. And I was going to talk about that too. And this will be a good segue, is you want to have good systems, so good for tracking. Some people want to pay for a CRM that they can put their leads in, they can follow up that way. Some people just use Google Sheets. Whatever you use, like if you're just starting off, don't feel like you have to go in and invest in like a really big like CRM. Zoho, Hubstaff, those are free. You can use those. You can create Google Sheets. I have some stuff that I use that's really good. Would you guys like to see some of the stuff that I use? And like, this is what I'll show you is like super high level, but I can show you guys what I started out with, and then what I'm using now. So let me see if I can do this without it being weird. Hold on. I don't even know where it all is. Here it is. Okay, hold on. Got to bring this over to here. So I'm like recording a portion of my screen. Let's cancel this. I'm going to share my screen with you guys in half a second. All right. I think this is the one. Is this the one? Is this the one? Which is the one? Now I don't know which is the one. Oh, screw it. I'm just going to share my desktop. It's going to be ugly because I have things on my desktop. All right. Let me know that you guys can see my screen.
I see it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is my PBN network, okay? Let me see if I still have, this is not how I recommend doing it. Let's see if this is gonna pull up, or if I deleted everything. I think I deleted everything. When I started off, I had like 3 PBNs. It's probably going to say I'm not logged in. And I didn't have any of this. I literally had the domain, the login information, and all that stuff. I probably should black that out. It's a little late for that. But now I have hundreds. Now I've also, so like I've just been acquiring them over years, right? But this is just how I track it. And then I started finding like, how do I know it's working, right? And this is upgraded from where I started. I didn't have if it was indexed, if it was linkable. I literally just marked if like it was used. Like, so like our agency does 6 figures a year, but I'm using a Google sheet that's ugly as all hell. And I just tell my, I have my VA go in and I'm like, okay, like we need to build this and I need you to, make sure you're linking out, and then we have stuff. There's no draft posts and all that sort of stuff. So there's those kind of things to start. Like literally, it does not have to be super, super high end. Now, I will tell you guys this. I personally think it's a good idea to make sure you use an email from your company. Like, how legitimate are you, right? If this is something you're going to do, you want to have, Benson at, Benson SEO, right? You know what I mean? I think that's a really, really powerful. But at the same time, if you're like, dude, I don't want to pay $4 a month, just have it be your company name at Gmail. Like you can still get clients, right? And if you're struggling and having trouble getting clients, like, dude, it took me ages to get mine. Like, but here's the thing, learn the SEO knowledge, become a master at sales and prospecting. Just because you become an SEO does not make you someone that can close the gig. So you need to find people to follow. I'll tell you some people that are really great for sales. Jordan Belfort's got a great book. He's Wolf of Wall Street, but he's got a great book and really great stuff. Billy Jean is excellent. I think it's Billy Jean is marketing. He has some great stuff. I think Benson's in that too. Super great on prospecting and how to overcome objections. And like, they have their own stuff. And I wouldn't tell you to go get that, but like sales wise, those two guys are great. Look up Dan Kennedy. Like message me. I'll put a list together. Like, I wish I could show you some of this stuff. Like, have a plan. Wow, I am all over the place. Have a plan. Like, my wife and I literally at the beginning of the year set out what we're going to do. And this is our life because we up level. So once a week for 13 weeks, we pick one thing to focus on. And during that week, we read a book, and that's our focus, whether it's copywriting, sales, family, our faith, and do that. And every week for 13 weeks, we do it, and then we repeat it. That means over the course of a year, we've done it all 4 times. Then we have things that we're focused on business-wise. We pick 3 things each, like following up. For me, it's going to be making videos and something else, like things that are, and I'll talk about this, leading and lagging indicators. And then finally, we have like 8 things in our life, in our personal life, that we want to work on, and we track it, because things that get tracked and measured get results. If you're not tracking, if you're not measuring, you're just shooting in the dark. Lagging and leading indicators. So a lagging indicator would be like, I want to lose 30 pounds, right? That. A leading indicator would be, I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to work out 3 times a week for 45 minutes. I'm going to do 25 push-ups every time I get out of bed. I am going to cut out sugar. I'm going to read 10 pages of a book. Things that are measurable, not just like the end result of the thing. So those are really important. So make sure you're kind of paying attention to leading indicators and all of that. Okay, now on to, so this was the beginning. I still use this. I have my VA handle all of this now. I literally, if I buy a PBN and it goes in the name sheet, I forward the email and I say, please add it, please build it, and let's make sure we link it out. SEO tip, I have done some research. I would only link out a PBN. Brandon says once, I say twice, but I don't link out twice to 2 PBNs. I'll link out to a PBN and then to a local relevant site or a Google My Business or like a high-powered press release or something like that. So that's just a little hint or tip. And right now, because I'm sharing my screen, I can't really see. But I'm going to show you something that's going to kind of blow you away now. And now I'm showing you this, and this, what I'm about to show you, is like a crap ton for me, but I'm showing you what you can take it to, and you still are using Google Sheets. So if it'll load. So
Hey,
this is
Jonathan?
my, was there a question?
Yeah, this is Jaime. I want to first just thank you for your time here. I just wanted to go back to the thing that you said about the PBN. You said to link to the PBN or the PBN to your site.
So, okay. So in the training, so you have your PBM, right?
Yeah.
And you link it to your money site. So let's say you have a roofer, right?
Uh-huh.
And you drive a link to the roofer, right?
Right.
That PBN is used for your client. I
Right.
wouldn't link to any other clients, but what I would do maybe a month down the line or a little bit down the line is I would have another article created and I would link it to one of your like local relevance, one of those 10. Have you gotten to there where it's
Like
like
the W2, the
yeah, the Web
2.0s.
2.0s for the local relevance? You could link it to that, or you could link it to a Google My Business page, or you could link it to a YouTube video you want to rank, or you could link it to a press release like that. I don't necessarily. There are certain press releases that are worth doing it too. So those kind of things. But
So
I would
linking it to your money site indirectly, in other words.
Yes, but it could be for a different. It could technically be for maybe a different client too.
Okay.
You just got to be careful because you want to keep the footprint as low as possible. But through some research that I've done, the most amount of juice that you can get sent out, like one link off of a PBN sends 100%. If you send two, they're split 50-50. If you split three, they're 33%. But like if you're doing it at 50% the most, it ends up the way if you structure your PBNs correctly, you're getting the most bang for your buck. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm just from my personal experience of what I've read and what I've researched, PBNs is something that doesn't have good reputation. So that's something that I'm afraid to kind of use. I know it's part of the process and I probably have to do it just to try it out. I'm kind of starting stage. I have a client, but I have not gotten to that PBN stage, and I don't know if I want to do it. I understand that RankDaddy's process.
Totally get it. And so I've been using them for years. I've never gotten dinged. They are not white hat. Let's just call it what it is. But they work. Mm-hmm. And if you do them right, and if you mask them with the Web 2.0s, it's going to help your site. Now, and I'll tell you this, follow the training, do the training. It works. Mm-hmm. I've done it with my local clients. I've done it with my national clients, and it works. And I think the biggest thing to think about is don't start reinventing the wheel on the training. Hold on, somebody. So I have no fear. I'll get to that. If you're following the training right, I don't. I think with fear of PBN is if you are abusing it, if you're not doing it properly. But I've had no issues with it. I mean, obviously, guys, you can see I have a few of them. Now, I will be completely honest. The way I'm taking my agency and I'm scaling up to a larger degree, which takes me back to this. With what I'm doing, this is a project management system. And guys, I show you this to show you like where I came from to where I'm going. Not to say you need to do this, like literally you don't. You do not need this to build a 6-figure agency. Like you literally need your computer and a phone and you can do it all. But my wife and I are going from 6 figures and our goal is to hit 8 figures and 7 figures this year and to be an 8-figure agency. So we're putting in systems ahead of time that we don't need now. Like put the stuff in place before you need it so that when you need it, it's there because you don't want to be playing catch up. So that's why I show you. I have it all so everybody has their thing and what's scheduled and who's doing it and who's reviewing it and all of those things. And that's why I show you that. So that you can understand that it can be super easy, but as you grow, right? Like, when's the first time you know, I don't know, what's something that you sucked at, and when you first started, you had like the dingle little thing, and then you up your level, you up your game, you know, whether you're shoot a bow and arrow and you got like a little piece of wood and a string until you get like the big compound bow. I don't know, I'm making this up as I go, but you know what I'm saying? So I get the I totally get the fear. If you're doing the Web 2.0s to balance it out, it's not going to have a negative effect if you're building the PBN properly. Now, I'm not telling you to do this because I'm going to tell you that we built our agency on following the system. But I've also taken the time to learn other things and learn outside things and, mastermind with people. And, if you're in this, follow this and then start taking new pieces and little hacks and, find out what you can to like grow yourself. But RankDaddy will literally can build you to a $10,000 to $20,000 a month agency. Yeah, I mean, same expensive. You can buy PBNs and you can actually, if you wanted to, make them into real blogs and just point links. Like you really could, like totally. For me, I'm working on a new thing where I may use PBNs, but I'm really working on like building real links and link outreach. I'm telling you, do not do this. It is a massive time suck. It is a massive amount of work and it is very expensive. But when you're getting clients on a national level, and a much bigger companies and corporations, you have to shift the game. For local clients, guys, literally you can do all the proper on page and change like all the titles in meta, and they'll go from page 3 to page 1. Like the stuff works. So just follow the system. Again, follow the system, stay in the lane. When you become a master of it, then try to do other things. I was talking to Tyler, if this is the same Tyler, yesterday. We were talking about things because I've gone from SEO into doing some other things as well to add on for our agency because we're more than just SEO. And he mentioned something. I said, no, Tyler, like just do SEO. Like you can become a millionaire doing SEO. You may get bored with it. You know what? Here's the thing. If you're bored with what you're doing, then you're doing the right thing. If you constantly need to be being like excited and all that stuff, and this is new and all that sort of stuff, you probably have shiny object syndrome and you're trying too many different things. Like, not many people have like gold medals in multiple sports. Like Michael Phelps has gold medals in swimming. It's not like he's diving. It's not like he's doing gymnastics, So there's that. I
have another question. Sorry.
Don't apologize. This is what it's for. I mean, like literally ask questions, personal development questions, books you want to read, SEO stuff, go for it.
Yeah, I'm mainly, I guess, just to cover for the group as well. I don't know the level of anyone here, but as far as this program myself, I probably started a few months ago. I think I'm doing good, making progress. But let's say for you, when you started, how do you get your first client? Like, did you get it like was it your first client, your business that you have? How do you start and how do you kind of build that confidence and, so that you could start offering to other clients? Because I think that's the main issue for most of the people that are starting is like, okay, if you don't have a site, then you're stuck. If you cannot prove that you've done it before, then that gives you fear. If you cannot get a client because you don't have results, then that's a place where most of us are or found ourselves at the beginning. So how was that first experience with you, and how do you kind of get out of that I don't know, out of that hole and start like building your confidence and
Great
getting
question.
more clients?
You guys want me to show you?
Sure.
All right. And Tyler said join the BNI group. BNI groups are a great place. I've gone to a couple meetings. I haven't joined just because I have 3 kids under 5 and a wife, and I think you could grow a very successful business. It's like $600 for the first year to join, and it's literally like your own personal networking force. It's worth going to check out meetings. I would recommend go to a local BNI meeting and you can go to them up to twice and visit. And there's a bunch of them. And if they don't have an SEO person, you can literally, because everybody gets to pitch their commercial, you get to pitch your commercial. So it's a great place. Secondly, to your concern about not having clients and proof, you have all of RankDaddy. So you can say the people I'm working with. You understand? Like if you follow the system, because one thing about Brandon, he's not gonna, and all of us, you see what's in the group. Nobody leaves you hanging, right? You have all the support you need. Brandon is more active and more accessible than he, honestly, in my opinion, he should be. But that's what's great about it. And so you use other people until you have your story. Does that make sense? So if you don't have an SEO win, you say, and I'll show you, usually you say like, one of the guys that I work with, he's been doing this for 5 or 6 years. And like, he's had clients had to grow multiple locations. He ranks his clients to the first page. I'll say these things, this is a side note. Don't ever guarantee or promise #1 ranking. Tell them you will get them to the first page and your goal is to get them in the top 3. I always say, look, if someone's going to promise or guarantee you the #1 position, you better run the other way, because there ain't a chance in hell that you can promise or guarantee that, because you don't know what other people are doing. Yes, our stuff works, and I'm 100% confident in that, but I just want to make sure I set the expectations. We do the work, we will get you the results, but I want you to know if you're talking to somebody else and they're like, and you're going to choose them because they say they're going to promise you #1 rankings, I would be hesitant to work with them, because who knows what they're doing, and nobody can guarantee that. If a client drops you, what else will affect their rankings if you're not using PBNs? Well, if you're built, the biggest thing with SEO is the proper on-page citations and backlinks, right? Those are the 3 biggest things. So the PBNs and the Web 2.0s, the Web 2.0s kind of mask the PBNs. And I'm going to get to showing you my first client. The PBNs are the power that do it. So when you pull those, that should remove some of the juice. But really, how sites rank is by the number of links pointing to them. So the more links you can get pointing to them, the better their rankings are. Finding other keywords, posting content, all of those things. So typically, if, it may not happen the first month, but if if a client drops you, you just let them know, like, you pull your resources. And I always send them a very nice email, because it does happen. I actually have a call after this with a client who was like, what are you doing? And like basically fired us because he didn't think we were doing any work. And so I sent him this whole thing with this like 15-minute video of like, here's all the work and here's what we have planned for the next 8 months. And here's all the work that we have done. And here's how you went from like no impressions to thousands of impressions, and look at this curve and blah, blah, blah. Right. And we're poised to do move. Like I have a recovery call today. And so like, I'm confident in what we do, but, you pull your resources, and I don't say ever be malicious. Don't go in and change their their headers and stuff like that. If you have a paid plugin, like I use a Rank Math and I have it attached to my account, I'll deactivate that. Or if I have built or worked on their site, I'll deactivate the Elementor Pro because I pay for that and they're no longer using it in my services. But if they end it, like, that's that's just what it is. Like, be upset for a minute and then go, you know what? Learning lesson, take what you can get from it, and what can you do better with the next person.
And another thing, going back to what you're saying and to the question that the Kurt asked, is like you gotta see these as going to the gym, right? So if I'm going with Jonathan to the gym, let's say we start in January and we all go hard for 6 months, we're gonna get fit, right? But if I drop and then Jonathan continue to goes to the gym for the next 6 months, then what's gonna happen to me? My muscles are gonna get loose, I may get fat and so forth. So his maintenance is gonna be less than my maintenance. That means that my rankings are gonna be dropping and Jonathan's are gonna maintain. So that's also one thing that you wanna either
Exactly.
tell your clients or whatever. Jaime.
Call up yeah, I mean, you could call up their competitor and you could show them what you did too. That's always good to do. I had something I was going to say around this. Here's the thing. Okay, so what I do. So when I got started, I didn't do contracts month to month and all that sort of stuff, which is probably what a lot of you guys are doing. I'm going to let you know what I do now is now we have moved, and literally the reason this has happened because in November we had a lot going on. We had 2 clients out of nowhere just decide to cancel. It happens. It sucks. But like one canceled 2 days before the end of the month and the other person canceled like on the 1st. And I was like, no, this isn't cool. So we decided, and this is totally our fault and our learning lesson, that we're moving to 12-month contracts. And that's just what it is. You want to work with us, it's 12 months because first of all the heavy lifting is the first 3 months. With what we do, we're eating it the first 3 months. And then we start to make it up the rest of the year, right? And so for us, if we have a client that comes in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? And they decide to go, well, I've got all the plan, you know, it's this effect, or is it this effect? I don't know how you see it, but like little boom, that like if they cut bait right before that happens, they're missing so much. So you want them, I sell them now on the vision of where we're going, and that like it is a process. And like Jaime said, and I use the example all the time, it's like going to the gym. For sure it is, you know, and I let them know what we do works and you're gonna see results. But, you know, or you make the, you know, the relationship example. It's not like, you know, and maybe you did and you're 1 out of a million, but you know, it's like, you don't go and meet a girl and then literally right there try to like ask her to marry you. You know, you take her on a date, go to dinner, meet again, you know, and over time it grows until you like get married and then have a family and all that stuff. And so I think it's really important how you want to position yourself. If you're brand new and you need to sell it, like, hey, look, man, we don't do contracts. Definitely just be like, all we ask is like, if you decide that you don't want to do it, we ask for a 30-day notice. Because we set stuff in place. Like we have moving parts. And so like if someone decides to cancel 15 days into it, well, you may have just ordered a press release and then the press release is going to hit and then you've got to order social signals and all of a sudden you've spent this money and they're no longer a client. And then they're going to get this bump and you're going to be like, this is what I did for you. And now you're leaving me. Right. Does that make sense? So that's it. I'm going to share my screen again and I'm going to show you my first. Here, I think I can do it this way. My first client is no longer a website. My first client was actually me. I built a lead gen site. It was called Santa. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oh. I don't remember if it was service or services. We'll find out. Yep, this is it. Okay. So this is now my site, Santa Clarita Limo Service here, so you can see it. I think, I am assuming this is a, I don't know. I can't read. I can't read this. So when I first learned SEO, and it was big then, was you build lead gen sites and then you call a company and you sell them the leads, or you have them pay you a month. And so this was the first thing we did like 7 or 8 years ago, right? I want to show you something. The website literally no longer exists, right? It is still #1 in Google Maps for Airport Service Santa Clarita. It is still #1 in maps for Santa Clarita limo service. You can search limo Santa Clarita too. Still #1. This is like all in and based around exactly what RankDaddy teaches you. So the reason I show you this, and like I show this to potential clients, is guys, this site is no longer alive and well. But what we did is still having it caused to be ranked. Now you can't find it in the organic listing because it's no longer a site. I mean, I've actually never even looked for it. I'm not going to bore you with looking for it, but I'm going to just make sure there's nobody in the holding room. I don't think so. So like, is that crazy? Like totally crazy. Like, anyway, so that's that. I think somebody, last thing I'll share with you. This is one of my secret weapons. I love this. If you guys don't have LastPass, I use this for my team. And it's amazing because you can keep, you can set up groups and all that. It's totally free and you can share. So what I do, so there's 2 ways to do it. You can pay like, I think it's like $36 for a year. It's like $3 a month. And then you can like share with multiple people. But what I do for my team is I have my personal LastPass that's the premium version, right? And it stores all your passwords. But like if you have like Rank Tracker and if you have SEMrush or you're doing those or any of those or anything that you need, or if you have your Google Drive where you're keeping your sheets and you need to share stuff, but you don't want to give like the password because like you have a lot of people floating around with your password, you're in trouble. You use this, right? You log in. So I have 2 accounts. I have my personal account, which is a Premier account. And then I created one for goodmarketing@gmail.com. And I give every single VA or every single person that's on my team that login password. And then what I do is I share my passwords to that account. Does that make sense? Totally makes sense. Good. And it's really powerful because then you don't have to like give people your passwords anymore. I mean, it is absolutely like one of the greatest things. That and Google Sheets are like amazing, 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 amazing. Has this been helpful for you guys? I know it's not a ton of SEO knowledge, but I think it's really, really important. Let's see. Okay. So I don't know if everybody can talk in here. I know Tyler's pretty new. Jaime's pretty new. Benson, you've been here for a little bit. Kurt, I think you said you were new. So I think most of you are, oh shoot, somebody's waiting. Hey, welcome, Risa. I'm so sorry it took so long to get you. We were sharing screens. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So we've been talking a lot about stuff. I'm going to jump into some questions in a second. I would definitely go back and watch this. It's been a lot of, I think, pretty interesting. So Kurt, it's over your head. Tell me what's over your head. Hold on. I'm going to unmute you. What's over your head, Kurt? Can you hear me? Oh, your mic's not working. Okay. Type in here what's over your head so I can answer that. So what I want to next focus on, because like I'm not going to bore you with a lot of SEO stuff. Like you can get that in RankDaddy. What I will tell you to do is you have to be better. Like that sounds ridiculous, but you have to become the better you. And so plan your day the day before so you know what you're going to do. I call it chunking. Block your day in chunks. Give yourself breaks. I'm not good at that. I just kind of plow through, but like know that you're going to prospect from this time and you're going to create your, 30 and 30 videos. You're going to do 5 of them here, and you're going to, do some SEO work on your site here, and you're going to read 10 pages. Start reading 10 pages of a good book every day. Oh, just there. Kurt, you're in a perfect spot. Just go through the training, rewatch the videos, take notes. I highly recommend as you're watching the training videos, have a notebook for it, because you'll retain it better, but you can go back. It'll save you a ton. I've been doing this forever, and every time I watch it, I'll go back in and do it. Yeah, 10 pages of a good book for sure. Start working out, eat healthy. Like, I don't know what you guys look like, your health status, any of those sort of things, but like, just because we work at a computer and work at a desk, we still should get out and do things. Challenge yourself, push yourself. My wife and I did a thing called 75 Hard. If you haven't heard of it, it'll change your life. It's by Andy Frisell, who's an entrepreneur. 75 days of 2 workouts a day. One has to be outside, 45 minutes each. Gallon of water, 10 pages of a good book, whatever your diet is, no cheating, and a progress photo. Those 5 things for 75 days. You goof up on any of them, you have to start back at day 0 the next day. And you start at day 1, or start it with day 1. It took me 75 days to do it. It took my wife 76 days because she forgot to read the first day, and she is like a not so avid reader. Pray too. Yes, Kurt. Hey, faith, find your faith, whatever it is important. And I'm not saying that's for everybody. Like, 45-minute workouts twice a day can be challenging. I live in Phoenix, and, during the summer, it's brutal, especially outside. Our walk in the morning was like taking our 3 kids in a stroller and walking for 45 minutes. So it's not like you have to run 18 million different miles for that. But since then, honestly, from that, we ran a half marathon. We're doing a 20K trail run in a week and a half. We're doing a Spartan Super. These are just things that we've gotten into because we want to push ourselves. We want to be better. We're constantly reading new books, and it takes me a lot more than my wife to read. My wife is so amazing at it, but like filling my knowledge, like watching training videos. Besides RankDaddy, what else can you consume? There's so much free stuff online, but what groups can you get a part of? What can you fill yourself with? I told you, watch Billy Jean's free training stuff. Watch Jordan Belfort. Billy Jean sells the stuff. Benson knows his, I don't know what it is now. His sales stuff is awesome. And it was like $7 a month for his sales training, or I don't know if they're still doing the price, like $50 total. And it's so good, because here's the thing, you need to become an amazing prospector and an amazing seller and an amazing closer. Like you have to be able to generate leads and to be able to do that. And so if you don't know how to do the SEO, outsource it. But you'll never be broke if you can constantly find a stream of leads. But you got to be able to close them. I don't do any cold calling right now at all. It's all warm leads, people we meet. I have a list of like 10,000 people that are cold. I literally just assigned it to a VA yesterday. He's like, guy hit me up. He's like, I can do stuff. I said, here's a list, see what you can do with it. If you can do anything with it, great. And you can put me in touch. They want to book on my calendar, fantastic. But I think most of you, if you're just starting out, you have to start cold. Doing the BNI is great. Understand, and I don't say this to scare you, that every single business you're talking to gets hit up 3 to 5 times a day, every day, pitching them the #1 ranking in Google, pitching them that they can do their SEO. And so you have to be different. How are you different than anyone else? Don't be like anybody else. If they're going left, go right. If they're saying yes, say no. If they're being kind and silly, be angry and aggressive. I mean, like, you have to stand out. You have to do that. And I think it's really important because your subject line has to make sense. But if you're sending cold emails and they don't know your email, so they probably think it's spam, but if you're sending it from a Gmail, it'll probably go to their inbox. The subject line has to get them to open the email. That first sentence has to this is copywriting, get them to read the second sentence. The second sentence has to get them to read the third sentence. All you're doing is selling with words. That's what copywriting is, and it's so important. So keep it short, keep it simple, hit their pain points. Don't sell them. Don't sell them for like a while. Provide so much freaking value that they're dying to work with you. Value is king, like for real. Like if you find stuff wrong with their site, I don't know what your subject is. Like my Sasha just sent out an email to our list that said Jonathan wouldn't let me send out my original subject line. And then at the bottom of the email, I think the subject line was like, I don't remember, something really stupid, but that wasn't true, but it was just really funny. Anyway, you need to have a pattern interrupt so that they like move to the next level and you take them through it. If you're sending a video, embed a screenshot of the video and put the link to it. Don't just put a link because people don't want to. Yeah, My Site Auditor is a really great tool to use. There's so many different ways. And here's the thing, just keep trying. Like, first of all, entrepreneurship is not easy. Like, I have failed more times than I've succeeded, and I fail forward every single time, and I take what I've learned to grow. And so I say that because if you've been prospecting and you're doing the same thing over and over and it's not working, well, who's the one that needs to think about what they're doing? Try this, try that, try this, try that. What worked? What didn't? I got further with this one. This didn't work. They didn't like that. Ask for the close at some point. If you don't ask, you're never going to get it. Right? And be you. If you're an introvert or whatever, and you don't want to pick up the phone and call, well, be so good at email that they have to. If you're an extrovert and you want to go in person and introduce yourself, you know? What else? We have 4 minutes left, guys. I'll go a couple minutes long because we started at like 12:03. Anybody have any questions?
Hi, I do.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so I'm still going through the training for like a third time.
Awesome. How long have you been in?
Well, I started back in February, but then I got out. Well, it was more of a medical thing, so I got out. And then I came back again in December.
Okay, welcome back.
Thank you. So now I'm trying to, push through, but I'm a little confused at times.
Good.
So,
no, I mean that seriously. Being confused is a great state.
Okay. My question is, if I find a company, let's say it's a roof repair company and it has multiple locations.
Yes.
And it does residential and commercial. I'm not sure how to proceed. I just kind of leave it alone because I get really confused with that.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure how to, like when I'm doing the video, do I talk about one location and one keyword, or I'm not really sure how to go through that process.
So you're saying like you went to atlantaroofers.com and they have a location in Smyrna and Alpharetta and Metro Atlanta and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know how to deal with that now.
I'm not sure how to, because they do roof repair and gutters and a couple other things. So I'm not sure.
So I don't understand your question.
Okay, so my question is, when I'm sending the video, do I just choose one of their locations to focus on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's what I would say. Okay. This is what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I would go onto their site and I would do the screen recording, and I would be like, and I'd have a couple of my windows open and be like, hey, Steve, I'm Risa, but I'm not. Hold on, I'm going to accept something. Hey, Patrick, we're diving into some. Hey, this is Jonathan. I'm with Good Marketing, and we haven't met, obviously, except now you can see me, I can't see you, so maybe it's weird. It's not. But I wanted to like just do something real quick, and I hope like it'll take like 2 or 3 minutes, and if it goes to like 5 minutes, I hope you'll stick with me. But I help businesses in the Atlanta area, and I found your site, and it's awesome, by the way. I really love what you did with the header and the slider that's going on with it. But I wanted to point out some things, and so I hope that you can get some value out of this, and if afterwards you want to know a little bit more, anything like that, please, I'll put my contact information in here. If not, no harm, no foul. I wish you the best of luck. But I was on your site, and I noticed that you're in Alpharetta, Smyrna, and Marietta, right? And so I did some looking at it, and like, you're doing okay, but there's some stuff that I noticed that like if you made some changes to it, you would actually end up going, because I looked, and you know, for roofing in Marietta, you're on like the 5th page, and your site is so good, and you have great reviews that like there's some stuff, if you did some tweaking, like I noticed that your title is off, and like, let me explain that real quick, because the title matches with, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but right? That you'll notice some that. And then also like the metadata, I know this is like techno jargon, but like, let me compare it to like a book, right? If you have a book, it has one title and it has chapters, right? Mm-hmm. Well, imagine if a book had 4 titles and a bunch of different kinds of chapters, right? You wouldn't know. Like if you were trying to go to your favorite pizza place, but like, and then now I'm going into citations, but like, so it's all that. And so the title is the header 1, and the chapters are the header 2, and you want them to match. And like, and I know this sounds really weird, but all of this is what Google wants, because they want to send people to you. And so I thought you should really know that. But another really important thing is a citation, and it's not you getting a parking ticket. It's your name and address and phone number on the internet, like basically directory listings. And it's like lifting weights. The more you have that are perfect, and by perfect, I mean that match on your Google My Business listing and on the footer of your website, you win. It's like saying if you can lift 500 pounds and the other person can lift 300 pounds, well, you can lift more weight. And that's really powerful. And so I just wanted to point out a couple things. I did notice a few other things with your Smyrna location and your Alpharetta location, but I just wanted to let this known to you. I want to just provide you some really excellent some value on it. I checked your citations. Here's the sheet that's showing you've got them all messed up. If you fix all these things, that'll have a really great effect too. And so, you know, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. As you can see, I'm kind of a gregarious, outgoing kind of guy. So I'm happy to talk to you about this. And, you know, I think there's a lot that you could do. There's a ton of searches I checked for it there. I mean, they're searching for roofers in Atlanta, Marietta, and all that, a total of like, I think like, you know, 650 times a month. Like, imagine if you being able to get like, you know, a third of that or 2/3 of that, just because you ended up, you know, being the one that people find when they first search. So anyway, you can reach me at and my email is but you have that already because you're watching this video and I send it to you in email. But I hope you have a wonderful day and happy 2020.
Okay, thank you.
Did that make sense? I mean, I spoke really fast.
It did. It did.
Now, I'm going to do it as you. Hey, I'm Risa, and I just wanted to put something together for you. And I was on your site, and so I work with companies to help them improve their rankings. And you probably get pitched on this 3 to 5 times a day, 365 days, you know, and who is this, you know, who is this lady saying they can do stuff? Well, let me, before I even ask you to work with me, because that's going to be your choice, let me just show you some things that probably nobody has shown you before. Boom, 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 boom. Right? I'm not asking you to be me. Right?
Okay. All right.
That's how I would do the video.
Mm-hmm.
You do the video. And here's the thing. Do you know how many businesses there are in the United States?
Millions.
Right? And do you know how many of them need customers and clients?
Probably all of them.
So let's say you send a video to an Atlanta roofer and you don't hear back. What? Let me ask you a question. What do you do?
I will follow up.
All right. So you add them to your Google Sheet or whatever you're tracking your leads with, and you follow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you keep making videos. And your first video is probably going to be heinous with ums and ahs and da-da-da-da-da-das, okay?
Okay.
And your 5th video is going to be better than your 1st. And your 10th video is going to be better than your 5th. And by the time, like, and then at a certain point, you're not going to give a rat's. You know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Because, like, literally, if you want things to change, they have to change.
True.
All right, we have, well, time is up, but I know a couple people, D. Benton and maybe, I don't know, Patrick just jumped in. Does anybody have any final questions? Do I use a location changer when doing SEO screencasts? What do you mean by a location changer? Like, I just go incognito when I'm doing my searches. I
do not have questions, but I want to thank you for your time.
You don't? Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, no, I never change my GPS location. I didn't even know Chrome did that. See, I learned something new today. I just go into incognito and I search, because that just pulls up it doesn't track your location. So if you're searching whatever city, it's going to pull up whatever the organic is in there. But I'll check that out and see. And know this, guys, with the maps. Oh, here's the last thing that you guys can do. There's a maps training. You can split your services, right? You can go and say, hey, let me do your SEO for $1,000 or $1,500 a month, right? Or $2,000 or $3,000 a month, right? And we do SEO. And they're like, be like, look, I totally understand that, but and it's out of your budget. I can't lower the price, but I can change the scope. So what if we just focus for the first 6 months on your GMB listing and get you into the map pack? We can do that. It wouldn't be the full organic in this. Let's do that. And we can, and then you'd be like, okay, so like to do that, I can do that for, $750 or $1,000 a month instead of $2,000 a month, or whatever it is, and whatever you want to charge. You can still get them on the client, start getting the results so they can start seeing that. And you just follow the training that's going on with RankDaddy for their local relevance and their map pack and all of that. And then you've got a client, because everybody wants to be in the map pack. Or you sell them on the local organic, right? Well, guys, this has been great. I've really enjoyed. I hope you all got a lot out of this. And we'll get the recording up. I hope the recording works. Anybody want to turn off mute and tell me what your biggest takeaway was, or type it in, or you can just leave.
Well, I just got here, so I just wanted to say thank you. And actually, what you just said about splitting your services was really good. I needed to hear that.
Very cool. Risa, it's nice to meet you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's Benson. What I learned, I like what you said the last part about splitting the services, and also when you did the impersonation for you and also Riza's video capturing, that really sparked up my mind, because I find, looking back now, I'm very robotic when I'm actually doing a video screencast. So I got to put my own personality into it.
Totally put your own personality. And here's the thing. When you're making your screencast, if you goof up, keep it in there. You can even acknowledge it. Don't. I'm literally a professional actor. Like, I've been on TV for 20 years. I was in LA. So like, for me, it comes relatively easy. But if you mess up, you see it, they see it, just acknowledge it. Like, you're a human being. They want to relate to you. Like, they want someone to help them. They're just so jaded and guarded because they get hit up all the time that they're just like this. Let them put their guard on and see that you're a person, right?
True.
So Reese is not going to be Benson, and Kurt's not going to be Jaime, and nobody's going to be me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And have fun. Benson, have fun where you literally throw it to, because I know you personally have had your challenges with it. Like, literally just say F it and just like go balls to the wall, and like pick a character on TV and just use that as your kind of like, I'm going to be ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do one like this, and I'm going to do one like this, and I'm going to do one with a weird accent. And like 4 seconds in, be like, I don't even know where that accent's from, but hey, I got something to show you. Because if you can get them to laugh, if you can get them to have some sort of emotion other than, because they're going like this at first. I mean, if you get them to click the video, you got a point. They're going like this. If you can get them to like uncross their arms and then like lean in and like watch the video, you're winning.
Okay.
And then notice what draws you in. Notice the things that, like, when you're on Facebook and you see a video, what catches your eye? What catches your attention? What's moving you? Because if it moves you, it's moving other people.
Okay.
And always hit them. Don't sell them on the benefits. Nobody cares about benefits. I built a course. It's a happiness course. 30 days to happiness. You know how many I sold? Goose egg. Nobody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to get rid of the pain. It's the same thing, pitched differently.
Okay.
Not I can make your phone ring. Are you sick and tired sitting there staring at a door that doesn't open? Lowering your rates again, hoping that'll make the difference.
Or you're sitting there watching your competition move ahead.
That's too general.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Is it true?
No.
Maybe, but it's not like, I wouldn't go, ouch.
Okay.
There's a new chiropractic office opening up in your area every single week. And they're younger, and they're more marketing savvy, and they're taking action because they're now being taught that. Do you want to continue to be the dinosaur? When's the last time you went to the pet store and bought a dinosaur? You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank
you.
you all. Let me know if you have any questions. You can hit me up in the group, or you can message me personally, and just go out there. Just stick with it. If you don't get a client for 6 months and you get one in that 7th month and they're paying you $1,000 or $2,000 a month, it's paid for the course. Like, just get better. Get a little bit better every day. And on that note, you guys are awesome.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh man, that was good.